Muted.
Now, there we go. Mine's my first one too. And that was my first year with NeoFit. And that was 2016. 2016.
Awesome. All right, Leslie, you get to pick who's next.
Oh, okay. Allison.
On mute.
Allison, you're on mute.
Mute. Mute.
Oh,
Yep. Unmute.
we can't
You're
hear you.
muted.
Can you hear me now?
There we
Yep.
go.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't remember about the battles. So my favorite one is actually my only marathon that I've done, which was the Towpath Marathon. It's probably about 4 years ago now, 3 years ago now. And I came in first for my age group, but I was probably the only one in my age group, so it was okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
We don't need to know that.
No.
All right, we're going to go down in order of my screen. So then we're going to go to Craig. Craig, what's your favorite race or your favorite medal?
Oh, I don't have it out, but I would say the first Akron Marathon, which was 3 years ago. Yeah, I think since then I've done about 10, and prior to running that, I never really ran a marathon. So a year before that, I wouldn't even think I was able to run it. So I think that first Akron Marathon 3 years ago.
Awesome. So we're going to go in the way that I see you guys. So Angie, what's your favorite medal? What's that one?
So this is my first 50K, which is Bill's Badass from 2015. And the reason I picked this medal is because I am a road runner. I have been a road runner my whole life. But whenever I need motivation, I hit the trails.
Awesome. All right, Dave, young Dave.
All right, mine is from the Big Ten 10K. It was the first year they did it in 2013. It was fun because it was like a giant tailgating thing afterwards, and it was a good time. Everyone got the color of their shirt of whatever school they wanted to represent.
Cool. All right, Carrie, you're next.
I didn't bring mine's upstairs, but it's always in the bathroom where I can see it. And it's the one from last year's Akron half, because I signed up for that race 4 times and it took 4 times to finally actually get to the starting line. Leslie was there with me at the starting line. So yeah, 4 years in the making. It's like the Olympics.
Exactly. All right, Joe, how about you?
Mine is 15 years ago, the 05 Akron Marathon, my first. That's when I met Vince and trained with Carol.
Awesome. All right, Jeff, how about you? Jeff's on his patio tonight.
I have to mute. Mine, I don't have it here, but mine would be, I ran the Amish half marathon. That was like the first half marathon I ever ran. And I got a medal and a block of cheese. So I saved a sticker from the block of cheese, and a little Amish woman handed it, or at least she was in Amish garb, handed me that. And on the sticker, it said on the block of cheese, can't believe you made it and you're still alive, or something like that. I thought that was really odd. So that would be my favorite.
All right, Heidi, you're next in my view. I'm skipping over Leanne. She already went. Is Heidi frozen?
Yeah.
Or is it just me?
Yeah, she's frozen. Oh,
She's
yeah,
having technical difficulties.
I think she's frozen.
How does one get frozen and then unfrozen?
Log out, come back in.
All
Try it
right,
again.
Heidi, if you can hear us, you might have to log out and come back in. So, okay, we're gonna go to Allie next then.
So mine is New York, and it's just my favorite race. And I always remember like seeing the medal everywhere and be like, oh, I really want that medal. And then like getting it and being there and stuff was just really fun.
That's awesome. All right, Jenny, we're showing our medals. Did you just join or you guys all shifted for me? So I can't tell, but do you have your favorite medal?
Yes. Mine is the towpath marathon from last year. It was the first time I did the towpath. And what was exciting was I saw one of my friends from college there at the start line. So I got to run almost the whole race with her, and I hadn't seen her in a few years. So it was just fun to reconnect and have someone to race with, because I wasn't expecting to see anyone I knew.
Oh, that's awesome. So it wasn't planned. She was just there?
Yeah, she was just there.
Awesome. Andrea, did you have a medal to show, or were you just talking about the Buckeye half? Was that your
well, that is my favorite
one of your
race.
favorite races?
I don't have the medal, or I didn't get a medal on that. I got a sweatshirt though, and what I love best about it is that the race only cost $30 to get in, and I got the sweatshirt because Brenda had run the race and had like multiple sweatshirts in different colors, and I was really jealous. So I got to get one that year. I should have worn the sweatshirt. You should have reminded me. It's your fault.
All right, Mary, what's your favorite medal?
I wasn't sure which one to grab, so I grabbed one for a half and one for a full. So this was actually my first, oh gosh, I'm not sure if you can see it. I have to undo that. My first half marathon was in Nashville. It was the women's half marathon, which I don't think exists anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it doesn't let me turn it off. But if it lets me show, it's really big. It's a guitar, a big Nashville guitar. And then I've got, for the full, I've got the New York from 2017.
Awesome.
And with any luck, maybe I'll get another one this November. So we'll see what happens with that.
All right, Joan.
Gotta unmute yourself.
Hey there. So I don't have the medal right here with me, but it was the Akron half marathon. It was my first half marathon. And I actually trained with NeoFit, and it was in 2015. And it was just a good race for me. I felt trained, and there was a lot of support and people cheering you on. And it was just a good race. So
awesome.
I'm back to try a full.
All right. All right, Susan. Is Susan frozen?
She's muted.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
Okay. Am I unmuted? I think so. It's River Run. I don't know if you can see it without the glare. That's River Run half from last year. It's always one of my favorite races, even though it tends to rain a lot. But it was last year. It wasn't my fastest race, but I happened to get first in age group, so I'll take it. The advantages of being old.
That's awesome. All right, Vince, do you have some kind of belt buckle to show us or something?
No, I have my Richmond Marathon medal from 2007.
I
And
was there.
Who?
Joe, I watched
Oh,
you.
yeah.
That was
Jim,
your.
yep. And I ran, that's my PR marathon. So I ran 2:46:12 at that race. So, so that has a special place for me. And so, yeah, that's the one that's the one I always go to.
Awesome. All right, Jody.
Well, I don't have my medals because I have them in a bag in a drawer somewhere. But I'd say my favorite one is Paris. I did Paris twice, and it was just kind of amazing to run through Paris and run past the Eiffel Tower and Arc de Triomphe and all that. I did the second time was even more fun, I think, because the first time, well, the second time I would say I just ran it for fun, completely for fun. Stopped, took pictures. It was awesome, so fun.
Awesome. All right, Jeff, are you wearing your medal?
Who?
Jeff, Frank. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, you.
Yep. It's the 2015 Akron Marathon. So far, the only marathon I've been able to get to and finish. So it's my favorite because it does show how hard it is to actually run a marathon and how, I don't know, how hard it is, you know, so to train for one and then run one. So there.
Awesome. All right. All right, Mary Hislop.
Try to turn myself on. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? Oh, okay. I have my 50 miler Burning River medal, and just basically because of the fact that I was actually able to do it. And I think a lot of the fun of it really was actually training for it, even more so than actually running the race. And I trained with Dave and Jess, and it was fun because we had to figure out where to put water because we were running like 26, 27 miles every Saturday. And that was a lot of fun for Dave trying to figure out where to put our water. So it was just like sort of a group effort, and it was a lot of fun. And I was glad I was actually able to do it. It meant a lot to me.
Awesome. All right, Michelle, I saw you drinking wine earlier.
Just finishing dinner. My medals are in the closet right now, but my favorite that really means a lot to me was 2017 Boston Marathon. Couldn't have done it without our group or Coach Terry, and my goal is to get back there. I tried to get back there every year and it hasn't worked. So maybe after all this is over, it'll be my year. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm older, so that helps.
That always helps. All right, Heidi, you're back and you don't look like you're frozen now.
And hopefully I will stay not frozen. My favorite medal, just by the looks, not quite by the actual race, but is my Bernie Kosar, the Bernie Shuffle I did. It's actually very blingy, and it's blingy on both sides, which is why I love it. It's from 2014. I ran in a plastic bag because it was raining cold.
All right, so how do I see if there are other people? Oh, Melissa. Although I don't see Melissa, I just see Melissa's name.
Hey, sorry, I didn't know how to get to the Zoom event because it was in my junk mail, but I'll make this short. I've never run a race, so this will be my first year to try. So I have no medals.
Okay.
There's a little arrow on the side. You can move there.
That's what I figured out. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is I am going to go through some stuff on motivation, and this is not scientific, so please don't ask for my references or any PowerPoint, okay? Because I have not been that sophisticated. So we've kind of talked about motivation and what motivates us to do all of this. Oh, Meredith, sorry, I missed you. Where are you?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry I missed you. What's your favorite medal? You've run a lot of races.
So my favorite medal is actually from this year. I signed up for the Towpath Half just to give myself some motivation, and it was canceled. And that was, it's April 5th. So I trained for it just to get out there to do stuff. And my son actually made my medal. You can see it's very blingy. It's got glitter. And he put a green string because that's my favorite. And he wrote the date and 13.1. So he was 5 at the time. And I actually ran the race on a treadmill in my basement, which was pretty rough. I'm not sure why. I was just thinking isolation at the time. The theme seemed right. So that's how I earned my homemade medal.
I think that's the best one. That's really awesome. I love that there's glitter on there too. So
yeah, it was actually nail polish. My husband doesn't know that was what was all over the table, but we've got it cleaned up.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've kind of talked about motivation and all of that and what motivates us to do these things. And in our last seminar, our Vince talked about his streak, and I know Allison has been streaking, and that's a great way to have that motivation and really try to think of ways to kind of keep us going. You know, on top of just trying to train for an event, you know, pandemic, whatever else you want to throw out there, there's a lot of stuff going on. So how do we keep ourselves motivated? And so I went to like basics here on the definition. Oh, it looks like Jeff's going inside. Maybe it got too warm outside. So when we talk about motivation, it really just means to make it easy to start. So some people have a routine or schedule, and that just makes things easier for them. Maybe some of you like set out your clothes so that you know exactly what you're going to get up in the morning and run and wear or something like that. I don't know. I wish I had that kind of skill. I do not. So once you create that routine, then you don't have to rely on motivation because it's just what you do. So how many, just raise your hands, how many people kind of have that set routine? So like you don't have to think about it. You just know you're going to get up in the morning or when you get home from work and run. Okay, Mark. Yeah. Okay, a lot of you. It's really good. You guys should send me your tips. Okay, so then building ritual, part of that same thing is that pre-game routine and just finding a way to kind of have that mindless behavior so that it's just already set for you and that you remove any decision making. Like you come home from work and you're just going to run because that's just what you do. Or you get up in the morning and you work out. You've just taken away any of those decisions. So once you have that kind of routine and behavior to start something, it's much easier to finish it and carry through with it. And I think we probably all would agree, like once you put your running clothes on, it's not very often that you take them back off and you're like, no, I'm not going to do this. Although I may have done that once or twice. Then there was the Goldilocks rule, which I thought was kind of fascinating. And that's really that when you sign up for a challenge, if it's either too easy or too hard, you're not going to do it. So like when we think about signing up for climbing Mount Everest, you know, that sounds kind of hard and I don't know that I'd make it very far. So same with maybe signing up for a 100-miler, maybe not really, sounds like a great idea, but it's just too hard. I'm not going to do it. And signing up for a 5K, maybe that's just too easy. I don't really want to do that either. So it's finding that right challenge. And I know that some of you this year have kind of made that decision. You've done the full, and so now you're going to concentrate on the half. And, you know, and that's fine because you've kind of taken a goal and you've made it manageable because perhaps maybe training for the marathon is just too much, takes too much time and energy so that then it doesn't seem like that would be a good goal to accomplish. So really trying to come up with that right goal for you. So, you know, figuring out what that would be. And really life is just this balance between being disciplined and being distracted. So how are we going to kind of, you know, figure out exactly how we're going to spend our time, what we're going to do. So when I looked up motivation, you know, the definition is really just to the desire or willingness to do something. And I thought, well, I guess what I was thinking of is a little bit more than that. So I looked up the definition of willpower, which is really, you know, having control to do something or restrain your impulses. So I think sometimes when we think of willpower, we think of like resisting temptation. So maybe that's a glass of wine, or maybe that's the chocolate covered almonds that I have in my pantry that are just really delicious that I keep going back for more. You know, what is it that you're either resisting? So then I came to the term determination, and then that kind of made me realize like what I was trying to search for. So determination is a firmness of purpose or resolution. So when we think about how we have that determination to go out and run, the determination to follow the training program, to follow through with our goal, that's really kind of what it is. It's a little bit more than motivation. It's a little bit different than willpower. But you, to have strong determination, have to define why you're doing something. And you have to give meaning to that so that you have something that creates purpose for you. So that then determination essentially drives motivation. So you're determined to do something. So then you're more motivated to put on your running shoes and go out and go for a run. So some of the qualities that people who are determined have is that they're really focused and maybe focused on more of what they have than what they don't have. And then they're able to kind of have that optimistic ability to think like, you know, I'm determined to do this and I can do it. So I go back to like my favorite book as a kid, The Little Engine That Could. And that's how you get up hills when you don't feel like you can. You just think that you can, and then you can make it up those hills. So I did not tell you guys to get paper and pen, but since this is like, oh, Carrie's got paper and pen, all right. If you do have paper and pen, all right, grab it. You know, these are all things we can't do when we're at the picnic table. So different, but so cool. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the things that really make us motivated. So when you think about your values, what values come to mind that help you be committed to the training program? So when we talk about values, how do I share my screen?
There's
There's a
big
green button on the bottom, Brenda, that says
green
share
button.
screen.
It is like right there. Okay. So
Then you have to pick which screen to share.
am I sharing a screen?
No.
Or am I
Yeah.
going to see it too?
Oh, it's
No.
loading.
Hold on. I need under here. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
I see your
There
browser.
we go.
Yeah.
So a list of values, do you see that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So these are some of the values just to brainstorm when we think about what values come to mind when you think about committing yourself to a training program. So don't mind the underlines on here. I quickly searched this and this is clearly somebody else's, I guess, underlining. Leanne knows this because on the last flight when we went to Boston, I made her go through these and we talked about values. So Leanne has seen this before, but if you guys haven't seen it, it's from Brene Brown. It's her book, Daring to Lead, but it's just an example of values. So when we think about some of the things that come to mind when we are thinking of ourselves and what values, I don't know, does some of these pop out at you?
Values with regards to what? Like why I run or?
Why you're committed to training for a marathon or half marathon. So do things like commitment, that's on there. You know, connection could be part of it when you're connected to a bigger group, like the running group. Personal fulfillment, growth for somebody who's, you know, really kind of stretching themselves with maybe the marathon goal or even a half marathon goal or a 5K goal. There's growth in all of that.
I remember the first marathon made me feel so confident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, confidence is big.
I've done some travel ones, so adventure comes to mind.
Oh yeah, I can see that, Mary. You travel to quite a few different races, so so that could be something when you're picking out a race, you know, that's an important value for you to go to a different state or do something different. So
Try altitude. Santa Fe was insane. Just saying.
For some people, it could be recognition, and recognition in that it's you know, in the positive sense, like you're doing something really challenging and maybe you're posting your progress, and so that people can you know, share that with you and give you some recognition. So when you just think about why you're committed to training, it's just going back to kind of what are these values? Maybe you value excellence and you really want to push yourself to be the best that you could be, or it's just fun. You know, like Jody said, running Paris, she took away all that pressure from herself, and the whole purpose of that was just to have fun, and she did. And that's how she ran New York. So we got lots of really cool pictures. So, but okay, so that is values. How do I go back to not sharing?
If you go down to the bottom, there should be an option. If you just somewhere near
sharing.
where, yeah.
Brenda, it's in red.
Oh, Oh, stop sharing. Okay, so
There you
green
go.
and red, two really key colors with all of this. So I'm new to this. Okay, so then question number 2. What is it about running that you enjoy? So sometimes we talk about it and all the things that we don't enjoy. But
afterwards. The socialization.
Yeah. Doing something with others that like to do what you like to do.
right, because if you think about it, when we're actually running, I don't know how much of the time we're talking about running. We're really talking about a lot of other things that really aren't running. Kind of talk about running after we're done running.
I think it's pretty obvious. I've always said I just like looking at different things when I'm running. I'm less of a social runner and more just what can I see today. So when I started running with the group and there was all these new trails and places I hadn't run before, I was like, oh wow, look at that. And then, you know, through every season it looks different. So
all right, so you guys are going to reflect on these questions, okay? So the next question is, what is the feeling you remember about finishing a race or finishing a really hard run? So we kind of talked about that before, like that confidence. So what is it that you remember feeling? And some days that's what's going to give us motivation, right? When we don't feel so great about running, we remember those times where we did feel good. So what is it you guys feel when you get done? Who ran today, and when you got back, how did you feel?
Accomplished, like I accomplished something that I set out to do.
Right, which we don't always get sometimes, right? At work, I feel like I leave work some days and I didn't accomplish anything. So that is a nice thing about going for a run and coming back and feeling accomplished. What else? What else do you guys feel when you get done?
I did not run today, but I did do the plank challenge today. And when I looked at that plank challenge, I was like, there is no freaking way I can do this. I did. And it just, yeah, it's just a great feeling. You just feel strong.
That's awesome, because what day is it now? Day like 9 or something like that?
It's day 9 and it's getting really hard.
Who else is still doing the plank challenge? All right. Very good. You guys are staying strong. So is that something that's motivating then, knowing that everybody else is doing it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so try to remember those times where you just felt really awesome. Just thinking about Meredith's medal that she got from her 5-year-old accomplishing something that was hard on her treadmill in her basement. That would be probably a really great accomplishment when you get a medal like that. I think that we all kind of remembered our really first meaningful race or powerful race and how that made you feel. You know, you can't buy that feeling anywhere. It's not like my chocolate covered almonds give me that same feeling. I guess I keep trying to eat them to see if they do, but they do not bring me that same kind of sense of accomplishment. So
after my first marathon, I felt like
really
I could conquer the world.
What's that?
I said, after my first half marathon, I felt like I could conquer the world because I would never believe that I could run that far. And I put 13.1 stickers on everything.
All right, my internet is telling me again that I'm unstable, so in case I disappear, I don't know, but. Okay, so what are you most grateful for about running? So those of you who know me know that I am a big fan of practice gratitude. So what is it about running that you are most grateful for?
The food at the end. The beer at the end.
All the great people we've made friends with along the way.
I will never forget running that first marathon, Akron Marathon, and one of the volunteers was in the wheelchair. And that is just burned into my brain that person volunteered to, you know, be on the sidelines handing out water and stuff like that. And I just thought, God, I am so grateful that I can just do this. That I can just, I mean, doesn't matter how good or how bad, just that I can. I've never forgotten that.
Brenda knows this, but I like telling myself how strong I am. Even if it was a slow run, a crappy run, I walked way more than I should have. I'm pretty good at telling myself how strong I am after every single run, even the bad ones. So I like that it does that for me.
That's good. Leanne does an amazing job with really positive self-talk, that she tells herself really positive, rewarding affirmations that she's doing a job. So I think that that's, again, something that you have to be grateful for, because not everybody else is telling you every minute of your run that you're doing a good job. And if you aren't telling yourself, then, you know, that's a shame. So what else? Who else is grateful for something with their running, about running?
I think for me, sometimes it's just the fact that you can have kind of a crappy day and just really not feel that great. And then you know that if you can get yourself out there and run, and you just know that you're going to feel better at the end. At least I always do. And so that I'm really grateful that I have that, just to take stressors off of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people take medication for that, and you go outside and just can exercise. So, yeah.
This is Melissa. I'll kind of echo what Leslie had said. I'm feeling grateful. I guess for me, like, I'll go back and remember the first time after my car accident that I could actually push a grocery cart was August 18th. I remember things like hearing, you don't know if you'll ever get this disease in remission. You don't know if you'll ever be off crutches again. I have complex regional pain syndrome that came out of multiple surgeries from the car accident. So to be able to, after you lose your health, you can't stand for more than 3 hours a day, or you're remembering little things that you used to hate doing, like going grocery shopping, and you're so grateful to be able to do it yourself without help. To be running and back training for this, the car accident happened while I was training for this. I'm so grateful. And I'm only doing 3 miles, but like so amazed at myself. So I just keep trying not to focus on 13.2 and just keep focusing on, I did 3, I'll do 4. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but it's a big deal for me to try to do this again.
No, and Melissa, you make a really good point. I will tell you that as a physical therapist, if you could just have people realize like how to be grateful for those little steps, you know, because some people get really hung up on, well, I used to be able to climb Mount Everest and now I can't climb Mount Everest. And it really does come down to doing the things in your life that are meaningful. And so at times it is the little things like going to the grocery store, but then you can build back up to doing something that gives you so much confidence and so much joy by trying to train for a race and do it. So you have an awesome perspective from somebody who's come from so far down to come back up. So one of the other things that I think we always kind of take for granted is our ability to run. And Coach Terry does a really good job of saying, you know, we get to choose to run. We don't have to run. We don't have to do all this. We get to do it, and we should all be grateful that we are able to do that. So, so that's just another part about practicing gratitude. So some days when you think, oh my gosh, I have to go run, and that's just the wrong kind of mentality to have. It's just that we get to go run, and we get to go do something that's healthy and enjoy and have enjoyment with it. And so if you put too much pressure on yourself, you're going to kind of crash. But trying to be grateful for those little things. So anybody else have a tip of what they're grateful for?
I work with people who have developmental disabilities, and I am a track coach for them, for a Special Olympics track coach. And sometimes I'm helping people who are using walkers just to walk 50 yards. And they know what that finish line is, and they know when they cross it, they get so excited, and just the joy from them. I mean, that keeps me going. That just, that's so inspiring to me.
Yeah, and it puts things into perspective too. Again, when we put so much pressure on ourselves, We have to remember there are other people out there who are happy to go 50 yards with a walker and cross a finish line and what that means to them. So yeah, all those little things that, again, when we practice gratitude and we think about each day and how lucky we are, again, I have so many things to be grateful for, but one of the things is this group, and I had a Zoom meeting with our other USA Fit coach or organizers across the country. I have to tell you guys, we're doing an amazing job. Other groups have not been so successful with the Strava group and the Zoom meetings and the emails, and they've not had members kind of be very connected. So I don't know what the secret sauce is and what the magic is, but I'm just really grateful that we have that, and we have whatever glue that sticks us together and makes us give up whatever TV show you guys would have been watching right now to come and have this conversation and just talk about things and then figure out how we keep ourselves as motivated as possible. Because again, with the pandemic, emotional drain, physical drain, whatever is out there for you, I know it's different for all of us, but it's just not the same right now. And so we have to figure out how to get ourselves to be as motivated. So getting the email from Akron Marathon yesterday, was that just yesterday or 2 days ago, that they are going to try to have the event. You know, I guess that's a good thing because it gives us a goal. It gives us something to really, really strive for. So my next question to you is this is what you really want to write down so that you can stay focused, is what exactly is your goal, and what is your purpose of that goal, and how are you going to accomplish it? So when we break down goals into smaller sections, it makes it a little bit easier. So this coming up, we have like 4 weeks of hill work on Tuesdays, and then we'll get into speed work. And trying to really break things down into little chunks to get to that big goal is what's so important. So obviously the Akron Marathon could be the goal, but there's got to be some little goals along the way. So does anybody else have any smaller goals along the way that they're kind of focused on or working on?
Well, I have a goal of finding a hill to run because it's so flat here on the lake. I have no elevation at all, and it's just easy just to get out my door and start running. So I have to go down to the Metro Park, probably in Rocky River, and just getting myself to do that is going to be a goal.
Yeah, and you want to get out there when there's not too many people so that you're not in around too many crowds. So yeah, but that is a good goal.
Well, Terry, there's a lot of closed roads in Rocky River. There's 2 big hills really close together that are closed. And so you can run, it's really nice. You can run up those roads and not run into, well, there's people, but
oh boy. Okay.
I muted them. Whoever called in, I put them on mute.
They must be on their computer and their phone.
That's correct. And that's why you're getting the reverberation. So whoever it is on the phone, shut off your computer and just listen through the phone for speakers.
So I know Coach Leanne did a thing where people in January wrote down their goal and then she mailed it back to them in mid summertime, I guess. And so part of that is to have a goal and stay committed to it. And how do we make that happen? So for some of you, this is really easy, right? So for who is this really easy for? Yeah, just easy for Vince. Meredith is super disciplined. Jody is super disciplined, you know, but not everybody is. And, you know, as the season goes on, we do tend to lose people at times, and we can lose people for various reasons, maybe injuries and what have you. But how do we all hold each other to kind of that same level where we bring each other together so that we make it to race day?
Well, something that I found very helpful is knowing that you got to kind of pace yourself through the run today so that you don't feel too beat up or defeated for the run the next day. So, you know, when you think like, oh, I'm feeling good during this run, but it's supposed to be easy, but I'm going to try to push it. You got to kind of have like that internal pace setter that tells you, yeah, but if I do that today, what's that going to mean for tomorrow? So So I think that's important, is like, because a lot of it is how your body feels. Like if your body feels beat up and sluggish and you know, kind of not just going through the motions, then it's not going to make your run very enjoyable.
Right.
So
And I set kind of small goals. So, I mean, and that are flexible. I guess that makes it easy to achieve goals, but it works out in the long run. So like my goal during the week, because I'm really busy at work, my goal is just to run 3 times during the week. And I try to run I often only get out for 3 miles at a time because that's all I can get in with my schedule. And if I can get three times out, I'm so happy. And that gives me a lot of flexibility out of 5 days. I just have to get 3 days in. Sometimes I can't do it, I'm traveling or something for work, but 3 days is usually manageable out of 5. And I have flexibility to move it around.
I'm going to say one of the things some people, I can done it to myself with Garmin, and I can see it happening on that Strava, is like you get the goal of I'm going to achieve a certain amount or get a certain amount of, you know, the goal can be misguided. And I think that in terms of a competitive goal. So I think the goals you set should be for yourself and not reflective of anybody else's achievements, because running is an achievement that you do for yourself. In the end, it is something you have done for yourself, not in comparison to anybody else's record.
Brenda, I have a couple logos towards the end of the call that I'd like to show everybody, because the other day during my run, I kind of was thinking about, you know, the fact that there's no events going on right now. And, you know, when people are saying, well, what are you training for? And I've just been telling them I'm running for myself. So I kind of came up with this, we're going to do a social initiative through the store, and it's called Run for You. And really taking this time when most people, because I started thinking about people coming in the store and when we're helping them with stuff, and they kind of self-describe them. I'm a mid-packer. I'm not out there running very fast. And everybody tends to all of a sudden want to bring up things that define them as to what they are as a runner. And they just don't look at themselves as somebody who's, you know, running. And that's just doing that is good enough. Not having to, you know, achieve any times or, you know, run certain paces. So we're really going to push this run for you initiative, thinking that now's a great time. Not saying people shouldn't do races, but just to kind of make them really focus on why are you doing this? You know, like, don't make running a short-term plan. Kind of think of it for the long haul.
That's awesome, because, you know, that's one of my philosophies with this group, is that you don't have to make it to the race. It's really just about having a healthy lifestyle, which is why I hope my sister is paying attention. She didn't look like she was there for a while, but you know, the whole purpose is to create health. Okay. All right. I'll quiz you later. So, you know, having that kind of healthy lifestyle, and then for all of you guys to figure out why it is you do what you do. Because if you go out there to run just because you want the Akron medal, it may be there this year, it may not be there this year. So how do we find ourselves with that motivation to go out there and continue to work towards something that we don't necessarily know if it's going to be there or not? And I think you guys have already showed, you answered all my questions, but I do want you to kind of reflect on those, and I'll put them in the email just to really think about what it is you really value and what it is that you really are trying to accomplish and what you're grateful for. And trying to give yourself some grace and have yourself have the ups and downs with the training and learn from it, because that we constantly say we continue to learn same lessons that we've learned over and over again. And then trying to really get to something where we can really improve our confidence and feel really, really good about ourselves. So that's the whole overall goal. And I think, Vince, that's a perfect tie-in to Vertical Runner. And because I'm sure when people come in the store now, you can't ask them what race they're training for and have them really have something solid in mind.
I mean, most of the time, in all honesty, we let the customer dictate, you know, it's not my, you know, it's not my number one initiative to know if somebody's training for something. I think people want to kind of take you through those pages of their book as you're going through the fit process. So like, because the last thing you want, what are you training for? Well, I don't, because then a lot of times you get the response, I don't run. You know, I'm just here for, not just here for, but I'm here for walking shoes, or I'm just getting started. And so a lot of times you want to watch that you don't make somebody kind of feel like, oh, should I be training for something if I'm going to the running store to get shoes? So, you know, that kind of stuff just organically kind of comes out through conversation. And most of the time when somebody's training for something, they're not going to hold back. Like usually they come in, they walk in and they're like, well, I'm training for a marathon. I need good shoes. So it doesn't take long to get to the, you know, to understand if they're training for something. They're usually really ready to tell you about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
My husband always says, how do you know if a person's training for a marathon? They'll tell you.
It's true.
It's true, yeah.
And a lot of times people, like, I know that customers will select the shirt that they wear to the store as kind of like a badge of honor or a conversation starter, because they want to talk like, oh, you ran that race? Oh yeah, I didn't even realize I had the shirt on. Well,
It's like washing your hair before you go to the hairdresser.
Yeah. So which is fine, but you know, a lot of times runners, if it's at work or even friends and family, they want to share those stories, and a lot of times it's, well, why did you do that? Why did you run that far? You know, was somebody chasing you? Or, you know, all the typical responses that come from people who really don't understand it. So when they're in an environment where they can open up and actually like feel like somebody appreciates it, that makes them feel good too.
So, okay, so tonight, I hope that you guys thought about your motivation or your rituals or whatever you do just a little bit differently maybe than you had before. And I guess I know that some of the people who didn't join us might be really thinking about like, how do we stay motivated and stay connected? So we might want to share some of those tips. And I know I appreciate like the plank challenge, you guys are posting it in Facebook, and and that gets everybody kind of to remember it and to join in again. Those are all the things that really are going to make the group as meaningful as possible, since we're all in our virtual training mode right now. So, you know, any other ideas that you guys have to kind of strengthen our commitment individually, but also as a group, I think would be just great to share, because I'm sure that there are some of us that are struggling and we don't necessarily know that they're struggling. We're all struggling internally, and all of us, everything has been upended and not normal. So, you know, creating a routine and trying to stick to our running plan is a good way to kind of make things seem a little bit more normal. So, all right, Vince, did you want to share your
Yeah, I'll share my screen. And these are not, you know, this is first draft. So and I didn't design them, and the person who designed them is not on this call. So
we're your focus group?
Yeah, I thought this would be a great time to share these and get people's feedback, because a lot of, well, like right now we're not, like our staff really isn't together all that much. So so can everybody see my screen now?
Yeah.
So kind of what I was thinking, you know, no races, no medals, no times, and then just run for you.
That's awesome.
So this is, there's 2 pages. So this is page 1 of kind of, and mostly what we would be doing with these is, you know, it'd be like images on social media, and then also maybe do some t-shirts too.
Nice.
So let me go to this. Everybody see this other one, the yellow one?
These are great, Vince.
Yeah, those are awesome. Yeah.
I like those.
I love the.
So I don't, does some, any, I guess, like, you know, page 1, page 2, does everybody like the slogan? Does that kind of explain the basis of
I think it's
what-
great. I think page 2 might be easier to read. It depends, I guess, on where you're putting the image. If you're putting it on a shirt, I mean, you can still read this, but if it was on a shirt, it may not be as easy to read.
I think the top left on the first page is great. That it is hard to read that font with the letters taken apart like that.
Yeah.
On the other, for the other 3 on that page.
This
I
one?
think the horizontal one is probably best for a t-shirt.
This one here?
That's a great one.
Yeah,
I like that one too.
Yeah.
Just hard to read "Run for You" on the other 3.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to read that.
Yeah, I like the second.
And it's okay with the peace sign logo making the Y?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I don't know, Vince, because you showed that one to us second. Like, I don't know if you showed it to us first, if I would have got it. I don't
Okay,
know.
it's French. It's "Run for Vous."
You're gonna need another focus group.
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, a peace sign, like, I know where he was going with it. I just didn't, I mean, you know,
I
you
see
like
it
to ask these things.
I see it now, but I don't know if I would have seen it if you showed us this one first, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I guess you think the peace sign logo as the Y is a thumbs, I guess, a thumbs up.
What is wrong? I've never liked that.
I like it.
I like it too. Can you make it into car magnets?
Yes, that's a good idea. Yes.
Yeah, I can make stickers, magnets. Is kind of the consensus here then that page 1 and this top horizontal one is kind of what everybody likes?
Easier
Yes.
to read.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's, you guys have made the decision, so if nobody buys it, I'm gonna give you guys the bill.
I'll come buy one.
All right, thank you. I'm on the board.
How has business been in the last 2 days?
So we, you know, we opened yesterday, and the part of me, it's hard to focus on the, you know, what customers are buying and who's coming in the store as much as the psyche of the consumer, because that's really what kind of grabs me. And I mean, we've got people coming in the store, you know, no mask. We've got some people with a mask. You know, we've got some people who act like it was just like a momentary blip on the radar and now everything's back to normal. So it's really confusing to me, and I can't get a good read on it. I mean, we've been busy and we've done a great job, you know, with customer flow and capacity levels, but it's just scary to me that so many people maybe don't take it very seriously. And
Yeah.
I think that could spell trouble, especially once the bars and the restaurants open up. And then, like, today we were on Wednesdays, for anybody who's not comfortable just going out into the general public and shopping, we have one-on-one appointments from 12 to 4. And I had somebody in the store and somebody was early, and I said, oh, you'll have to wait outside before you can come in because the other appointment's not done yet. And while this woman and her son were sitting on the bench, this guy came by and kind of had a snide comment and said, making such a big deal for such a small virus.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
So
Vince, can I just say thank you for doing
I
Wednesdays?
know.
Oh.
I mean, seriously, like as somebody who has athletic asthma, athletic induced asthma, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, we, you know, there's a level of guilt you feel as a business owner because, you know, you try to, you know, we're not spraying everything down. We're doing our best to keep the store clean. And you just don't, if somebody's asymptomatic, you don't even know that they have it.
Mhm.
And, you know, like my wife, I drank out of her cup because I was too lazy to get up and get my own water during dinner. And she wouldn't drink out of my cup. Because she said because the past 2 days I've been at the store.
I don't blame her.
I don't blame her.
Yeah, so
I don't blame her either.
You did the right thing.
but it makes you kind of think like, you know, I'm just working retail, you know, and you know, today I had several nurses who came in and getting new shoes, and I mean, they will open your eyes as to really what's going on and how sick people are and how sad it is. And you know, I just think if we're not gonna, and then I had a guy in the store yesterday and he spent a decent amount of money, and at the counter, you know, just making conversation, you know, he asked me about my mask because my neighbor made these masks for me and the staff. And I said, oh, and you don't have one? He said, yeah, if you told me I needed one to come in here, I wouldn't have come here to shop.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And I think that, you know, somebody had mentioned earlier, I don't know if Fleet Feet was still meeting at Station Road Bridge or somebody had posted that, and we're just not, we're not a group that's going to do that because safety of our members is really important. And this virus gets transported mostly from people to people. And so we have to stay apart. And while that really sucks because being able to run together is what makes our group so powerful, we're just going to still be powerful together, but separate. And we're going to have to figure out how to do this for much longer than I think people realize that we're going to have to do this. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. You know, I know COVID cases in my hospital are going down a little bit, but based on what I saw in my neighborhood on Mother's Day with all these people driving around going to see other people and big parties in my neighborhood, we'll see what happens in another 2 weeks. But, you know, we just all have to be really careful and be vigilant with their hand washing. It's your choice if you want to wear a mask, but it really does help reduce the spread. So anyway, that's why we are going to continue to stay apart, although we can go visit Vince at the store.
And we have directional arrows. In Hudson, people are coming in the back door and exiting out the front door. And then we have 6-foot markers taped on the floor so you can kind of get a bearing of where you're at within the store and if you're 6 feet from another person. We have a 3-person limit if one staff member is working and a 5-person limit if 2 staff people are working. And we also have signage on the entrance. In Brecksville, you'll enter the front door and leave the side door. And on the front door there and the back door in Hudson, if our store is full, we have a sign that is turned around that lets people know that the store is at capacity and they'll have to wait outside.
And I don't mean to make light, but I'm laughing at the directional thing. Like it's all your course planning skills have come out here.
Oh yeah,
Like how to get people in and out of the store.
My arrows are like, they're phenomenal. I mean, I didn't need to pull any tape up. I was like, I know I've been training my whole life for this. Like, so yeah, it's something that we really wanted to think out. We just ordered. I spent a lot of money on a hospital grade germicidal spray that we'll use in the store. you know, we want to be as responsible as possible, and not have somebody leave and say that when they came into our store that they felt like we were being part of the problem. So, so come on in, we're ready for you.
You're doing a great job, Vince, so that's awesome.
Thank you.
You know, I just wanted to say I used curbside pickup. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Casey helped me figure out like what shoes since my model had left, and then ordered it. And then my husband was up there and he just like stopped by and picked it up. And it was great. I mean, it was so easy. So that's really nice to have too.
Yep, we're still doing that. And you know, we can send stuff to people's homes, and if they live close enough or kind of in between or in the Brecksville or Hudson area, we've done home deliveries too. So
Awesome.
yeah.
All right, I know it's getting close to Coach Mark's bedtime, so you know, he goes to bed early. Okay, I want to talk real quickly about Saturday. It's supposed to be really nice. So where's everybody going to go to get their long run in where they're not on top of everybody else in the park? Are you guys going to get up early and go? Or are you going to wait till it's 80 degrees out and go?
Early.
I had thunderstorms in my forecast, so I don't know.
Maybe wait till Sunday. I don't know.
About this, I am never late to the run. This is the best.
What is the mileage on Saturday? I didn't even look. What's on our schedule?
You know, I go day by day. So have I looked that far ahead yet? No, isn't it 6 miles? I think it's 6, right? It was 5, so now it's 6.
Okay.
It's 6 miles.
Okay.
For
If
marathon.
you get there at around 8 o'clock, it's usually not too bad.
Okay. All right, so everybody
Has
just needs
anybody been on the towpath? How crowded is it?
It's not bad. Again, if you're early, it's fine.
Okay.
So I did see somebody else posted that they're going to take the dam out pretty soon at Station Road. But I don't know that any of the drinking fountains or bathrooms are open. Has anybody run past that lately?
Yeah, they're not open. They've got porta potties.
Right. So again, just thinking about it's going to be really hot, and so carrying fluids, planning your route, trying to really think about how it's going to be. Hey, Jeff, you've been on the bike and hike, right? How busy is the bike and hike?
Bike and hike is great early in the morning, but I try to not go there later in the day because it gets crazy and there's lots of people around, and
It's crazy busy for
crazy busy. So, you know,
people
go
just
7,
sleeping in.
maybe 8, but leave early and get out of there.
It's less crowded than the towpath, I think, though.
It is that area south. I think Leanne and I have been running that area south of the falls. It's pretty good through there. And it's a pretty area to go. Vince, you're doing a really good job, and keep wearing the mask. And then, you know, I have been telling people that I know, you know, are you comfortable? Like I have a mask and all that stuff as I talk to someone, and then you know, is there anything uncomfortable? Are you comfortable? Do you want me to do anything different? I think that puts people at ease, and I think the mask helps everybody. So keep doing it, Vince.
I agree.
Yep.
Most of my hills that I've been doing hill repeats on, there's not many people there. So if anybody wants some guidance there.
Now, I haven't been venturing out, but are most of the trails labeled that you're supposed to go in a certain direction?
Oh, today was, I can tell you that from Boston Store to Blue Hen Falls was absolutely insane. I mean, and they don't want you walking the road to get up to because now the parking lots are closed up there.
Right.
But people are not social distancing. I mean, I saw, you know, a melting pot of friends, you know, they were not brothers and there were like 8 of them together. It's become a serious problem in the park, and I'm surprised it's still open, in all honesty, based on the behavior of people that I'm seeing in the park.
And I think this weekend is just going to make it worse. It's going to be really nice, warm weather. And then, you know, again, trying to get out, get your run in, and getting out of there is going to be important. And I don't know if they're going to close off part of the, if anybody's going to go to Station Road, I don't know if the parking lot is kind of closed because of taking out the dam. So I don't know. But
Yeah.
okay, it's getting late. I know Mark is tired, and so he's got to go to bed. But I'm going to send out an email, so we'll have the link to this for other people who weren't able to join us. And again, try to stay motivated. Think about what it is that you do to keep yourself motivated, and share those tips with the rest of us who, for everybody who might be struggling. So, okay, and we'll see you guys next week. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Good,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.